Hi and welcome to our lesson devoted to the topic tenses of English language. When students mention the topic tenses, they usually mention about 9 or 12 or even 16 tenses existing in English, while in fact there are only 3 of them. The same as in any other language: past, present and future, which means something that happened before the moment of speech, something happening or associated with the present moment, and something which is going to happen in future. Here are a few examples. I was a teacher. This is past tense. I am a teacher. This is present tense. I shall be a teacher. This is future tense. Other categories we associate with English tenses like simple, continuous, perfect tenses, they're actually not tenses themselves. They are types of actions. And there are 4 types of action in English: simple actions, continuous or progressive actions, perfect actions, and perfect continuous actions. Let's see the different graphs in order to see the difference between types of action. I think in graphical way it's going to be easier for you to understand the difference. First, let's see the line, the timeline of simple action. Here we are talking about fact of some action in past, in present and in future. As you see, with the spot we mention our action. It is not touching the timeline, which means we don't know specific moment of time, what time or which day. We do not care about this information in this type of action. We only care about the fact of action. For example, I am a teacher. This is about present moment. We know this is present, but this has nothing to do with right now or at the moment, or I was a teacher. We don't know when specifically, we just say about that as a fact about past. Next, let's see continuous action scheme. Here we see that our actions, our spots, they are actually located on our timeline. Here we see that there is a demonstration of process. So some action is happening or was happening or will be happening in some moment in past, present or future. This type of action is about process of action. Here we don't mean fact, here we mean a process. Here we try to show that something is going on or was going on in some moment of time, and we know this time. For example, yesterday at 5 o'clock I was reading the book, or now I am reading the book, or I'm reading the book now, at the moment. This is present continuous. I will be reading or I shall be reading the book tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So tomorrow at 5 o'clock, this is a moment in future. We see it on our timeline and we see the process which is going to happen. Next, let's see perfect action scheme. Here we have the limits. Here we have the moment of time mentioned on our timeline, which is going to be the end of some action. And our action is going to be the result of something which was happening before or will be happening before some moment. For example, I have just finished my job. This is present perfect action. I have just finished. This is something for the moment of speaking. I had finished the book 5 days ago. So 5 days ago, this is a period of time in the past. I had finished by that time, or I had finished my book by Monday. So Monday, this is something from the past, some moment, some spot on the timeline, which we mentioned as the limit of the action. And in future, we are talking about some limit in future for some action. I shall have finished the book by Monday, by next Monday. So here we mean that Monday is some moment in future, which is going to be the limit of our action. And back to the function of this action type. This action type, perfect action, is about result of action. We don't care about the process. We don't care about the fact, but we care about the result of action, about something that happened when some action finished. Next type of action, and the last one, is called perfect continuous action. This action is about the result of process. So here we see the sign of process, which is happening or was happening, and then it was stopped or it has stopped in some moment of time, which we see mentioned at our timeline. So action is not going on, or was not going on, or will not be going on. Here we talk about the result of process. I know that for the moment it's like about the Chinese language learning, but trust me, now we're going to see more examples and you will understand that this is not that difficult. If you understand the structure and if you understand the function of each type of action, then you will have no problem with using the formula for each type of tense and then making your sentence in positive, negative, and questions. So now we're going to have example for each type of action in 3 tenses and in 3 types of sentences: positive, negative, and questions. And you will try to translate them, and that way I'm sure you will get the general understanding of formulas. And then we will work with each tense and each type of action separately. So let's go. But hold on for one more second. The thing I'm talking about is actually called system. The system of English tenses. If you understand the tenses not as 3 multiplied by 4 types of action, but as a system, as actually the common formulas, that way it will be much easier for you to work with them, because you will feel what you need to choose for making your sentence in English. So first we are going to see the examples for simple action in past, present, and future. Positive sentence. The formula for positive sentence structure of our verb is verb plus ed ending or the second form of irregular verb. In present, we are going to use our verb without any endings in some cases, with s ending or es ending. And in future, we are going to use our verb together with auxiliary verb will and shall in front of it. Let's see the examples. I worked, he worked, they worked. This is positive sentence in the past tense in simple action. I work, he works, they work. This is present tense for simple action in positive sentence. I shall work, he will work, they will work. This is future tense for simple action in positive sentences. For negative sentences, we need to use auxiliary verb both for past, present, and future. So here we are talking about in the past. Did not, did as auxiliary verb plus not as a negative word. plus we have our verb without any endings. In present, we use do or does auxiliary verb plus not, and we make them don't or doesn't, plus verb without any endings. In future, we use will or shall plus not plus verb without any endings. You see, that sounds the same way, but with different auxiliary verbs for each specific tense. The examples. Negative sentence in the past in simple action. I didn't work. He didn't work. They didn't work. Present tense, simple action, negative sentence. I don't work. He doesn't work. They don't work. Future tense for simple action in negative. I shall not work. He will not work. They will not work. Questions in simple action. Past. Did I work? Did he work? Did they work? Present. Do I work? Does he work? Do they work? Future. Shall I work? Will he work? Will they work? Next. Continuous action in past, present, and future tense. First, let's start with the formula of positive sentences. Here, we are going to use to be verb as auxiliary verb plus main verb will be with ing ending. So that means if we use this formula for past tense, to be verb will be was or were. In present, that's going to be am, is, or are. And in future, that's going to be shall be or will be. So, examples of the sentences in past, in continuous action are going to be I was working, he was working, they were working. In present, I am working, he is working, they are working. And in future, I shall be working, he will be working, they will be working. In negative, we just need to add not to our auxiliary verb to be, whatever it is according to its form, past, present, or future. So in fact, you see, the difference in the formula is that we only change the form of to be verb. But VING, so our verb with ing ending, is not changing. It's the same in past, present, and future tense. So negative sentences sound the same way. They are a lot in common. The only difference is the form of our to be verb. In the past, I was not working. He was not working. They were not working. In present, I am not working. He is not working. They are not working. And in future, I shall not be working. He will not be working. They will not be working. Questions. Was I working? Was he working? Were they working? This is past tense. Present. Am I working? Is he working? Are they working? Future. Shall I be working? Will he be working? Will they be working? Next, we're going to talk about perfect action in past, present, and future. Here, we are going to have auxiliary verb to have, plus main verb is going to be in the third form of irregular verbs, or it will have ending ed. So, in past, the form of to have verb is had. In present, it's have or has, and in future, it is shall have or will have. Let's see the examples. I had worked. He had worked. They had worked. This is past tense. Present tense. I have worked. He has worked. They have worked. And the future. I shall have worked. He will have worked. They will have worked. Negative sentences. We only need to add not to our auxiliary verb to have. I had not worked. He had not worked. They had not worked. This is past tense. Present. I have not worked. He has not worked. They have not worked. And the future. I shall not have worked. He will not have worked. They will not have worked. And questions. Had I worked? Had he worked? Had they worked? Present. Have I worked? Has he worked? Have they worked? And in future, shall I have worked? Will he have worked? Will they have worked? Perfect continuous action. This is the most complicated, but actually it's hardly ever used in English, especially in spoken English. So don't worry much about it, but let's see the formula. In past, present and future, the formula is going to be to have, auxiliary verb plus one more auxiliary verb being in fixed form, always the same, and then main verb is coming with ing ending. So in past, the formula will sound the following way. I had been working. He had been working. They had been working. I have been working. He has been working. They have been working. In future, I shall have been working. He will have been working. They will have been working. Negative sentences need to add not to our first auxiliary verb, to have plus not plus been plus main verb with ing ending. I had not been working. He had not been working. They had not been working. This is past. I have not been working. He has not been working. They have not been working. This is present. I shall not have been working. He will not have been working. They will not have been working. This is future. And we only have questions left. Had I been working? Had he been working? Had they been working? This is past. Present. Have I been working? Has he been working? Have they been working? And the future. Shall I have been working? Will he have been working? Will they have been working? If you're a student of my course of study, you're going to have the table of all these examples in order you could mark by yourself all the forms of a verb as example. This way you're going to have better understanding of the difference and the formulas before you move to the review of each tense and each type of action. Here we are done with the review of the system of English tenses. Back to the question, how many tenses do we have in English? Only 3. And we have 4 types of actions. So we have 3 tenses and 4 types of actions, and that means each type of action can be used for past, for present, and for future tense. That way we have a lot of ways to make our sentence depending on what do we want to say. Do we want to mention the process or the result of action or just the fact of action? So let's get to the practical exercises and see how good you can highlight and select the forms, identify the forms of different types of action and different tense. Good luck with your practice and see you next theory lesson. Bye-bye!